What's going on, everybody? Jolt here from the Token Minorities, and I am back with another week of the APA. This week we are against Emvee and his San Diego Chimchagers. Make sure to go check out his channel if you haven't already. I'm not sure if he plans to upload the game. We kind of talked about that a little bit before the match. I'm not sure if he plans to, but just in case he does, make sure to go give him a look and see if you can see his side of the match. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this game. All right, so I tried to play 3 games in 1 week's, no, sorry, 3 games in about 2 days time. 3 days time? 3 days time. And that's a little bit tough for a working man. So yeah, there's just a little bit of a precursor. This game is a little ugly, I think, from a building perspective, but more from like a battling perspective. Is I'm gonna be honest with you, I was kind of half asleep during this game. We played like right before I went to bed, and yeah, I think it kind of shows by some of the plays that were made. All right, so what Emvee brought here in this game is a Golett, Chespin, Staryu, Ponyta, Amara, and what's Toxic Croak's little form called? Croagunk? I think it's Croagunk. And I am packing some mons that I actually didn't have on my draft last week. And that's because I made some transactions. I wasn't actually able to use those transactions in my first matchup, just because Gypsy had already prepped for the previous team, and that's totally cool. But I made a few swaps here for my team. I picked up Onix. I picked up Bulbasaur instead of Bellsprout, just to make room for the Onix. Onix is a higher tier mon in this league, and I needed Onix as a normal resist, as you saw in the previous matchup. I don't deal very well with normal types. Meowth kind of wrecked me, so I knew I needed normal resists and better ones at that, and that's where you also see the Honage coming in as well, replacing the Mask. And then I also picked up Bunnelby, I think, in exchange for the Venipede. So I lost a few of the mons that were pretty good on the team from last week. I lost Houndour as well. I just didn't see the need for another fire type on the team when there were so many key typings that I didn't have. So just some of the swaps that were made here for this matchup. But just to talk a little bit about the matchup here, just in general, Emvee has so much speed on his team. Like the highest base speed I think you ever see in Little Cup is 20, or the highest like speed stat is 20, and Emvee has a bunch that are at 19. He has like 3 or 4 mons that have a 19 speed stat, which is outspeeds my entire team, bar my mons that are like boosted under the weather or like Scarfers. So that alone is kind of annoying, especially when he has Amara that can control the weather as well with its Snow Warning ability. So yeah, it's kind of an annoying matchup, I think, based upon that, but I still put together a kind of fun team. And yes, let's just talk about it a little bit. So I'm packing an Eviolite Vulpix with Toxic, just in case he wants to switch in his Ponyta into this. That'll allow me to get some consistent chip damage off against the Ponyta, as well as hitting it with a Hidden Power Rock. Then I have Fire Blast and Energy Ball just for general coverage against this team. Then I have Mantike, which is a Swift Swim set with Hydro Pump, Hidden Power, Grass, and Air Slash and Rain Dance. Basically meant to be a pretty good late game win con. If I can weaken down the Staryu a little bit, then this thing can actually just wreck his entire team. So that's the goal on that. Unfortunately, the electric weakness is going to be a bit annoying considering the mons that he brought. All those mons have access to electric moves, or at least super effective moves. So we'll see how that comes into play. Then I have the Onix, which is my Stealth Rocker in this game. Just a very good mon against his team. Packing Berry Juice this week as well. Bulbasaur as a Sun Sweeper with Poisonium Z to allow me to hit the Chespin a little bit harder, as Sludge Bomb would be avoided entirely by Chespin's Bulletproof. And then I have a very solid mon against his team in the Honage, which is just Swords Dance, 3 attacks with Berry Juice, Adamant Nature, at +2. It does so much damage to everything on his team. He has no resists to Ghost types on this particular team that he brought. His only potential resist was the Tailo, and he didn't bring that, so this is definitely looking pretty good against him. He might be able to set up against the Chespin, or maybe against the Amara. And then I have the Helioptile as well, which is just a Choice Scarf variant this week. If I'm able to break down the Golett and the Chespin, this would be able to put in a lot of damage against his team. So with that said, we can go and jump right on into this game here, as I am going to lead off with my Vulpix, expecting him to try to counter lead basically anything else on my team. I kind of expected him to try to counter my Onix with like a Staryu lead, for example, and being able to get the Sun up against Staryu right away could have been really nice. Maybe I could have whittled down the Staryu into range range of other mons on my team, but instead he opts to lead with his Golett, which is a little bit frustrating, I guess, because I really would have preferred to just lead Onyx in this case, honestly. But it is what it is, as I'm going to go into my Onyx now, expecting him to go for his Stealth Rock, and because I have this 30 and the Berry Juice, what I can do here is just go straight for my own Stealth Rock, as the rocks are going to be really important in this game, assuming I can keep them up here throughout the course of the game. Staryu makes it really hard to keep my Stealth Rock up in this matchup, but maybe I can pressure the Staryu for a longer period of time and just see if I can chip down his team a little bit. As you reveal something kind of cool, this Icy Wind really caught me off guard, being able to slow down my Onyx, preventing my preventing my Berry Juice from coming into play here, as now he's just going to go straight for an Earthquake and knock me out before I'm able to do anything else with my Onyx. But the good news is we did get Stealth Rock up at this point, and I can go straight into my Bulbasaur, and I should be able to knock this thing out with an Energy Ball. I am Modest Nature, so I should be able to knock this thing right out unless he is like a Violite or something. As you can see, it's going to live on 1 HP, and that's actually really, really, really bad. Focus Sashed, actually, so pretty cool prep there on his part. He's going to be able to survive that hit and bring me down to 1 HP. You know, it really shows how tired I was during this game. I did not even realize that was Focus Sash in the matchup. I thought my Energy Ball just wasn't strong enough. That says a lot. But anyways, able to take out the Golett with a Sludge Bomb, just in case he wanted to go into something else. And that's kind of cool, but now he's going to be able to go into his Staryu, and unfortunately he can just go straight for a Rapid Spin. I'm going to try to block that with my Honedge here, which may not have been the best play, as he does make a nice read and just go straight for what I believe is a Hidden Power Fire. I guess I should have just sacked off my Bulbasaur, but I really thought he would try to go for the Rapid Spin here, but you know, I guess that was just a little too obvious. But even so, yeah, I'm going to lose my Berry Juice on the Honedge, which is really, really annoying considering how good this could have been against him later on in the game. Now I'm just going to go straight for the Rock Slide, expecting him to try to pull a switch into his Ponyta to keep this thing at a little bit higher amount of health. And unfortunately, he just goes straight for the Scald and is able to fire off, I guess, his Berry Juice. So he just clicks Full Restore, and he's going to be able to get back up to full health while my Honedge is in danger of getting knocked out. I'm just going to sack off my Bulbasaur here because I probably should have done that earlier, and now I've lost my Honedge. So yeah, that was a pretty poor sequence of plays there on my end there for sure. As now I'm going to go into my Helioptile, and hopefully this Staryu is in range of my attacks. I think it is. Regardless, I think he's going to be threatened out, and he's going to go into his Chespin here. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn, expecting him to make that play, and that should allow me to get into my Vulpix and get off some big damage against his team. So I am going to go for the U-turn. That damage reveals to me that I believe he is in a Violite Chespin, which is what I expected here in this matchup. As now I'm going to go straight into my Vulpix and threaten him with a Drought Boosted Fire Blast. And he really doesn't want to switch into this. He could try to switch into, I guess, his Staryu or his Ponyta. I expect either of those to come in. So either way, I felt like my best overall play was to go for the Toxic first, followed up by whatever I need to go for to get as much damage as possible off on either of those two Pokemon. So I just go for the Toxic. I do land it on the incoming Staryu. And after that chip damage, I believe it should be in range of an Energy Ball here, and it should be able to take any hit from this Staryu as well, especially because he's still pressured to Rapid Spin, and it's exactly what he goes for here. I wasn't about to switch into my Honedge, so that was a fair play on his end there for sure. Honedge is looking like one of my two win conditions at this point in the game. I probably have to try to set it up on the Chespin if I can, and we'll just see how that goes. As I am able to knock out the Staryu, and he just goes into his Ponyta immediately, which is very threatening. I really can't switch out. I was kind of expecting him to try to go for maybe a Z move if he had it, maybe a Wild Charge potentially, but he does just have the high horsepower, so that'll knock out my Vulpix, unfortunately. And now I'm going to just go straight into my Helioptile, and I'm making this play because I want to scout if this is a Choice Scarf Ponyta, as if it is Choice Scarf, that's definitely good information to have. I need to know if my Helioptile is going to be able to outspeed him. So I'm going to actually pull a double into my Mantike here, because he either stays in and goes for another high horsepower, or he doubles or switches into his Chespin to take the electric move. And in either case, this puts me in an advantageous position, because I can just go straight for the Rain Dance, expecting him to preserve his Chespin to be able to deal with my Helioptile later on in the game. But unfortunately, he actually leaves his Chespin in, which is really bad news, since this was my win con. He just pops me with a Thunder Punch, and that's a rip. That's really, really bad. This was my top win con at this point in the game, and I really thought he would try to preserve his Chespin for my Helioptile. I think it's almost questionable that he decided not to, honestly, but I'm sure he had his reasons. More power to him. It's going to really hurt me at this stage in the game, as now I'm kind of forced, if I'm going to be able to win this game, I just got to go for a Swords Dance with my Honage, and he has Mud Shot on this thing as well. So I'm guessing this is just like a 4 attacks Chespin or something like that, which is kind of cool. Definitely did not really expect that in the matchup, but it worked out very well for him in this case, as that's going to be able to knock out both of my potential win conditions, and there's no way this is going to be able to beat it, because my best move to hit it is probably U-turn, and he has a bunch of other mons in the back that mean I kind of need to lock into Thunderbolt and hope for the best. So unfortunately, I'm going to, I believe, get a paralysis on my next Thunderbolt, and that's kind of cool, but it's not going to be able to seal the deal for me, as he's already dropped my speed with the Mud Shot, so it's not like I'm going to be able to outspeed his Ponyta at this point anyways. So yeah, the speed really prevailed against me, and this Chespin just, I didn't expect 4 attacks Chespin necessarily. I don't even know what to expect. Here's the bigger issue with me, for me, in Little Cup. I don't really know what to expect. Okay, and I think that's why I've kind of struggled here against Gypsy and against Emvee in this matchup too. I don't really know what to expect in Little Cup in terms of really both the plays, the damage rolls, and like the sets that people are going to be inclined to bring to a particular game, especially Berry Juice. Berry Juice kind of triggers me. It's like having a full restore in your back pocket, and you just slap it on him whenever you want. Right? Like I feel like, or like, you know, not whenever you want, but whenever you get kind of low, it's just like instant, boom, full health. Like, all right, there goes all that chip damage I was trying to put on this. So I don't know. I have a lot to learn in Little Cup. I think that's pretty obvious with how I played this game. I do, you know, like I'm not trying to make excuses. I mean, I am, but this was not my finest performance, and I do attribute part of that to being like literally asleep while playing. But even so, going to try to get Emvee back in the playoffs, maybe, if that's even possible. I don't think I can make playoffs at this point with this team, but in the GBA, Emvee, I'm coming for you for sure. But I don't know who my next matchup is against. I'll figure that out whenever I get there, but I hope you guys are enjoying me struggle throughout this season. It's definitely a big learning experience, like I have said, but you know, if you have, I guess, any comments or suggestions you have for me and Little Cup in the comments below, let me know. I could probably use them, if I'm being honest. If you have some tips and tricks that might help me out here, that would be kind of awesome. But you know, with that said, I'm just gonna keep trying to have fun. I hope you guys will enjoy the ride along the way. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time. Peace.